from previous pharaohs and carving and recarving hieroglyphs and reliefs throughout the land. Scholars claim that within the ancient inscriptions created during his lifetime, there are clues that offer insight into the man behind the mystery.
It is very hard to get at what Pharaoh is like as a personality. We do have some texts which the suspicion is that he might have been referred to as the general or the generalissimo rather than as Pharaoh, which would mean that he was thought of as more of a part of us, you know, as a troop leader, and maybe with a little bit less emphasis on his divine nature.
Ramses as Pharaoh did not set out on his first military campaign until year 5 of his reign. In 1286 BC, Ramses, intent on gaining complete control of the west coast of the Mediterranean, began his expedition, and his efforts proved to be a success. He and his troops returned home victorious, having gained control of both the Mediterranean coast and an area of land that had once been under Egyptian rule but had been lost to the powerful Hittite Empire. The Hittites, like the Egyptians, had well-developed military skills, making them worthy foes. Ramses' invasion into their lands caused considerable tension between the two countries. Within a year, both superpowers were poised for a fight. The ensuing confrontation, known as the Battle of Kadesh, would become one of the most celebrated and well-recorded moments during Ramses' reign.
All the foreign lands trembled before him, their chiefs bringing their tribute, and all the rebels coming in homage through the dread of his majesty's might. Ancient Egyptian inscription.
Each version, of course, a little bit different, but always Ramses, the god king, is the hero.
Exactly who told the truth about the Battle of Kadesh is still unknown, but fortunately, the events were recorded by both sides. Experts claim somewhere within the two accounts, the truth can be found. Ramses had separated his troop of 20,000 men into 4 units. The advanced force had captured what they considered to be 2 Hittite spies. These supposed spies were actually planted by the Hittites to misinform the Egyptians. They told the Egyptians that the Hittites, afraid of the Egyptian army, were well over 100 miles away. Ramses, believing their story, feared no trouble from the enemy. So he continued leading his first unit into an area close to Kadesh. While setting up camp, the Egyptians were given some terrifying news. The Hittites' real location was less than 2 miles away. Ramses was wild with anger.
So, the enemy are hiding round old Kadesh, and neither my foreign chieftains nor my Egyptian officers with them knew anything about it. Ramses II.
The remainder of Ramses' forces were miles away when the Hittites attacked. But in the end, they would arrive on the scene just in time to save their leader. The rest of the story is somewhat sketchy. 3,500 years later, it is still difficult to be certain of the chain of events after the Egyptian reinforcements appeared by Ramses' side. But experts feel, after studying the documents from both the Hittites and the Egyptians, they have a pretty good idea.
Now, to read his description of it, you would think that this was one of the cleverest forms of strategy, that he had this all figured out and that he told them all to wait and come in just at the right moment. We have, however, a Hittite version of the same battle, and it doesn't come out quite the same way.
I think we can detect very well what happened. He was riding straight into the jaws of defeat and even death, and by bravery and being saved by the people coming in, he won the day on the field in those few hours. And that was it. That's as far as he got.